some people don't need an introduction, and you're one of them. There's like Malala, the Dalai Lama, and then Deepak Chopra.
Oh, come on, that's
So,
just a provisional identity. You know, you heard this word, we create our own reality.
right.
We do. Not only we are consciousness morphing itself into a mind-body universe experience. Consciousness by itself is formless. You know, everything that we've created as identity, racial identity, gender identity, ethnic identity, national identity, religious identity, it's all up for grabs. There's no such thing. Reality is infinite, and you can choose what you want to create.
I think for millennials, it's all about challenging the conditions, right? Like all the ones you just listed, this conditioning of this is what a man is, a woman is, what this is, what that is. And we're just kind of challenging all of that. And even if you look at like hashtags on social media now, the cool hashtags are like spiritual gangster, spirit junkie, manifesting.
We are manifesting all the time.
Yeah.
Consciousness is manifesting as this experience all the time. But we're doing it like biological robots. We need to do it as conscious beings. And then you consciously choose the reality you want to manifest.
And that's becoming a lot more interesting, I think, to younger people. I know we just threw on an event called the Modern Nirvana Conference in LA. It was with me, Kat Graham, obviously, Shaman Durek, and my friend Bryant Wood, and he led like a breathwork meditation. But in 1 month, we had 460 people RSVP. They all came, they're young, mostly in their 20s, you know, dressed very cool and young. And at one moment, Kat and I looked around and we're like, wow, this is like people they could be anywhere. It's Saturday night. They could be at a club, at a concert, and they're here. They're choosing to come to this meditation/biohacking conference where we had like infrared therapy and brain tap and doing a guided shamanic journey with Shaman Durek. It's a really interesting time, I think.
I think we're coming where we're going to see the confluence of all the things that can shift consciousness and give us a clue to what is fundamental consciousness. So everything is coming together: breath work, yoga, mindful awareness of perceptual experience, mindful awareness of the body, awareness of what's happening inside the body, awareness of mental space, the web of relationship, awareness to the ecosystem, ultimately what's our connection to our source, what's the source of all experience, including that which we call the universe.
I'm interested in knowing what you think about a very specific part of the pineal gland. So what kind of really took my YouTube channel from a small thing to then having 35 million views was the third eye videos, where I've gone working whether with an Indian guru or a teacher in Germany, England, here in the US. I've gone to all these different places and teachers who they're showing people, even people who are 100% blind with their physical eyes, how to see. So I would have, like, let's say a little kid, I tape their eyes shut, put a blindfold on top of that, and they can still see everything I'm doing. I can hold up a paper, they'll tell me, they'll read a book to me, fully blindfolded. And when I ask them what they're doing, they say it's the pineal gland that's seeing, not their physical eyes.
We need to know a lot more about the pineal gland. So the pineal gland classically is known as the vestigial eye, the third eye. So these two eyes are giving us the experience of color, shapes and forms. That's all we see, by the way, color, shapes and forms.
Yeah.
And what is color, shape and form? Does it have a physical presence in the world? No. If I asked you, where in the physical world does the color red exist? It doesn't.
Right.
Okay, it's an experience in consciousness. Therefore, it's a modified, consciousness is modifying itself into seeing, which we call color, shape, form. Then we interpret that as a physical body, as a rock, as a star. The third eye is known in wisdom traditions as the eye for inner vision. So without having access to colors, shapes and forms, you can create them in consciousness. If I ask you right now, imagine the color red.
Yeah.
You see it, right? There's no color in your brain though.
So you know what comes up is like an image. I saw your scarf, I saw an apple, I saw...
That's it.
Yeah,
so how does consciousness modify itself into an image? You can do that mentally or you can do that perceptually. You are creating the colors, forms and images that right now you call the physical world, including the physical body. And these are also shifting, changing. like a kaleidoscope, because you never see the same things. You can close your eyes and you can teleport yourself anywhere in the world and see what's happening. I do that with my home in India regularly.
Yeah.
Okay, and I will, in the past I used to even call the help in the house and say, you didn't clean up the bedroom, or what were you doing in the kitchen?
Oh, you were actually remote viewing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All you have to do is basically shut off all expectations, all resistance, all anticipation, and transport yourself in that place. Your, what you call your subtle body, which is your mind, intellect, and ego, which is part of your subtle body. So we have a physical body, we have a subtle body, then we have a formless body. We start with the formless body, because that's the basis of everything. You start with, in the absence of the formless, there's no form. Formless modifies itself into form and phenomena. So the key always is to get back to your formless self through meditation.
Right.
Then introduce an intention, put attention on an idea or a perception, and there you are.
So what would you say to my generation as far as like either a warning or advice to how to keep going?
Both. If we don't recognize that the world is insane at the moment, then we are declaring our own insanity, number one. But once we recognize the collective neurosis and now the psychosis that has created a world ready for extinction, then we are gone. Just like 65 million years ago, dinosaurs disappeared, but that was an accident. A meteorite fell on Earth and wiped out dinosaurs, we came. Next extinction will be human beings. But we can change that, and not only can we change that, we can reverse everything. We can reverse climate change, we can create a more peaceful, just, sustainable, healthier, joyful world, but actually we can reimagine the cosmos, because actually it is our imagination. We created it.
But what about, then how does karma play into that? So what if it's our karma to be hit by a meteor?
See, karma is an obscure word. Just replace the word karma with the word conditioned mind. Okay, and then, you know, go back to the wisdom traditions who say, you know, you can go beyond all karma. You can transcend all karma. You know, Rumi, the great Sufi poet, he says, why do you stay in prison when the door is wide open? The door is wide open, but you can't see the door because you can't even see the prison. The prison is invisible. It's your own conditioning.
It's like the flies, you know, the flies that they trap them, and even when they open it, they'll stay there.
They'll stay there.
No, like the thing is wide open, but they don't have the.
That's it. So this is the human condition. They still think they're trapped. This is the human condition, trapped in space-time and causality, and this concept called karma.
Wow.
There's no such thing.
Right. So even that's just a construct of the mind.
The awareness of an experience is not the experience. If you're aware of a thought, the very fact that you're aware of a thought means you're not the thought, right?
Right, you're watching it.
You're watching it. So you're intrinsically free of the thought. The awareness of a perception is not the perception, so you're intrinsically free of it. What we call karma is the interpretation of experiences with a very narrow lens of perceptual activity. Once you break down that lens, transcend the limitations that are self-imposed through culture, through religion, through theology, through philosophy, and now through the scientific method, because science is another story which is limiting. Okay, science cannot even explain how we are having this experience right now. All that's happening is invisible photons are going to my eyes. All that's happening in my brain is electrochemistry, and I'm experiencing this world, including my body, and I'm even interpreting it.
Wow.
So, you know, science is a limitation also. Go beyond who or what is reality beyond all stories. Before you start telling your story, what is reality? It's infinite.
So Deepak, obviously it's such an honor to sit with you now, because before even knowing you, we all, my generation, all of us, especially me and Kat, feel like we've known you before we knew you. You have this ability to be personable. You can speak to a scientist, you can speak to younger people, older people, all generations, the spiritual minded, the science minded. It's just such an honor to follow your work, and now I can't wait to delve into MetaHuman too.
And the fact that you and Kat
Yeah.
have this huge demographic right now
Yeah.
means that you now have to take over all this work and take it to the next leap.
Wow.
Ultimate creativity
Yeah.
is a discontinuity, which means these days we use the word disruption, right?
Yeah.
The old has to totally die for the new to be born.
Right.
Death and resurrection are part of the creative process.
How did you get the courage to do that? Because I know with me as a journalist, I have this construct of like, I'm a serious journalist, I have 4 Emmys. What are people gonna say? And what are they gonna think about me?
In the beginning, I used to think like that.
Did you think that?
Yeah, in the beginning, but then I realized if I didn't speak my truth, I was betraying my own self.
Yeah.
And secondly, if I worried about what people were thinking, I'd be offended for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
But that's not a good way to live.
Okay.
Right? So the key is to be independent of both the good and the bad opinions of the world. Then you tap into your creativity.
Okay, great. This is an honor. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
My
you so
pleasure.
much.